Did you know that you can make a career out of gaming? It's quite possible, in fact. Let's dive into the world of gaming and talk about the experiences and moments we lived through it. Please welcome our guests, RoBoHoBo and Matt Benic, as we talk through careers and jobs in gaming and esports. Next up, we're going to be talking about careers in and around gaming and esports, and who better to chat with than Luca Tucconi and Matt Benic. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with Luca.
Awesome. How's it, guys? Yeah, Luca Tucconi here, aka RoBoHoBo. As I'd like to think of myself, a former competitive Call of Duty player for Bravado Gaming, South Africa's first Twitch partner back in 2014. Previous Red Bull gaming manager, specializing in project management and marketing. Yeah.
Matt.
Hi, folks. I have been in the game development industry for the last 20 or so years. I'm currently Director of Engineering at 24-Bit Games in Johannesburg, and I'm looking forward to getting to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is something that's super interesting to me as well. I've been exposed to, some really exciting things in gaming and esports. And I think, Luca, for you, you've fulfilled various roles, and some really exciting, I guess some more mundane. But what are some really exciting career opportunities that are presented in gaming and esports?
Awesome. I think myself, focusing a lot of my time kind of in the world of marketing and project management. You see all the various roles that obviously work in towards, putting together a massive production from an event or from a broadcast perspective. All those various roles, they obviously serve a very core purpose to speaking to, gamers from a casual to a competitive side. I think the world of marketing, interests me a lot. We're a tough crowd to sell a product to. We really love, a credible, authentic interaction with a brand, especially if it's non-endemic. So I think the world of advertising, very, very interesting. How do we, as gaming fans, people who are passionate about games, esports, how do we speak to a gamer to sell a product that's maybe not directly, obvious to a gamer, coming from the world of the beverage world? How do we make a gamer feel like the product serves them as well as kind of helps them either in the activity of gaming, or kind of being a part of a bigger community? So looking at project management specifically, putting together these memorable moments, such a massive thing. We love sports as well, a country that loves sports, and, attending an event and being a part of the community, a huge thing, leaving a lasting memory. And then, of course, the various things in esports, looking at some of the more successful teams of today overseas, how they're forming these organizations with, sports psychologists, looking to, up the performance levels of gamers, understanding dietary requirements, training regimes, putting in the right amount of time into being a professional. It's really trying to be the best in the world. It's like being a professional athlete or a soccer player that a very small percentage really make it. So I think it's looking at, what is the option? Do I want to play? Do I want to be in front of the camera? Or do I want to put together these moments that we all idolize and enjoy so much on live streams, on Twitch TV and the likes? So definitely the world of project management and marketing. Obviously, gaming is a form of entertainment. So how do we sell this moment or a game to a very, very difficult but passionate audience? If you connect with a gamer, they'll almost like cultishly support you for the indefinite future. But on the other side, you could create a very quick disconnect and almost like I'm done and never see you again. We've seen some examples from, big soda brands, creating adverts that just didn't resonate with the scene, and it makes it very difficult to recover that trust. So really understanding how to speak to gaming as a marketer is something that interests me a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of sort of people psychology involved in connecting with an audience. So when we speak about roles that can be sort of expressed in the gaming and esports world, Matt, I'm gonna chat to you a little bit more about your side of things in a second. But would you say that coming sort of from the outside of gaming and esports, for example, if I was a wedding planner, would I be able to transfer the skills that I'd learned from wedding planning into, tournament organization? How transferable are the skills that you might have from outside the gaming esports side of things to sort of bring them in?
Yeah, I mean, look, going on the wedding planner example, I guess, if I think
Very
of
extreme.
the various weddings, yeah, I mean, the various weddings I've attended, the organizer always seems highly stressed,
Yeah.
So if you think of running a wedding and all the specific little points that obviously your client wants, being the bride and the groom, being very, very meticulous on those little, very, very high detail, moments that create that lasting memory. It's an important day. It's a wife and husband. They want to remember that forever. So same thing goes into a gaming event. I'll bring up an example like Red Bull Hit the Streets, for example. Something that I've worked on for many years, was my little baby, and kind of putting together something that can leave this lasting impression as a project manager, kind of make these players feel like athletes, and have that sort of seriousness applied to something that might seem quite casual. I think coming from being a 90s baby, gaming was always kind of like this fringe little job or professional career that you could chase, something a little weird, most of our parents thought. But looking at it now, professional athletes are almost the cool kids of today, or professional gaming athletes, content creators, streamers. That's what most youngsters are aspiring to be today. So yeah, something like a wedding planner moving into project management. If you're passionate about gaming, you understand the audience, you're a gamer yourself, and you just found yourself in wedding planning, being able to transfer those skills over to managing an event, like a Red Bull Hit the Streets, a Red Bull Kumite, a Comic-Con, a Rage. Those skills are inherent to a project manager. It's just understanding, again, going to that point, how do I speak to a gamer while putting together this event or massive tournament, for example. So definitely, project management is project management. It's just understanding your audience. Yeah.
Right. Matt, speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, did you come in from a gaming side? Did you come in from a development side or an engineering side? I really like the background artwork that you have there. And yeah, I'm just curious, where did your passion come in with what you do?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm a lifelong gamer. I've been playing games forever, and it was definitely an interest before I got into the industry. When I started studying, and I did computer science, so I suppose you could say the development engineering side of things. It wasn't really much of an option to go directly into game development in this country, but I suppose I had a few lucky breaks, and we mentioned marketing already through some of the marketing that happened back in those days and some of the old magazines. I happened to see some opportunities. And that that got me into the career pretty early on. I've always been involved from a development side, though. My art is limited to drawing stick figures, and then they're probably pretty bad ones. So I'm very strongly on the programming side. No, it's true. It's really true.
Okay, interesting. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to chat a little bit more about game dev and other careers that you might find yourself interested in esports and gaming. So we'll see you in a bit.
Who has the shortest temper or fuse?
Dude, it's got to be Kian Özil, dude. This guy rages if the other team makes dumb mistakes, dude. This guy will slam his desk, dude. Shortest fuse. There's really no one in the team that gets that tilted. Maybe it's me, maybe that's the reason. That's the reason I can't figure out how maybe it's me.
This motherfucker don't miss.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be Voljan, but March, the brothers' true colors are coming out. Kian. March, true colors are coming out because low-key. He has his little moments, we can hear the little death slams every now and then.
Me? Just hanging around.
I think my team is pretty calm in general. I think the person that would maybe lose their mind the most would probably be Voljan with his desk slams.
Welcome back. We are talking to Luca Tacconi and Matt Benic about careers in and around gaming and esports. And I was just chatting to Matt a little bit about game dev. What are some skills, Matt, that might indicate that someone can look into getting into game dev? I feel like there's a bit of a separation. I don't meet, I'm in the gaming world all the time, the gaming, streaming, esports world, and I don't meet a lot of game devs. Where are they? Where do we find them? So my question really is, what skills can indicate someone might be good at developing a game or being in game dev?
Well, I mean, modern games are very often pretty broad and large productions. So there's a wide range of skills that could be applied and sort of different careers within game development. Obviously, as with anything else, it's a business. So the typical project management and business development and marketing skills come into play. But I think what most people think about when we talk about careers in game development, the people that you think most about are designers who are going to be sort of coming up with the ideas behind the game and the mechanics behind the game. Your artists who are creating the visual aspects of the game, the models, the textures, the animating those and that sort of thing. Excuse me. The programmers who are building the software, because ultimately the games are software. Building the software that causes those models and animations and things like that to behave in the way that comes together and brings the vision of the designers to life. And there's all sorts of other areas as well. There's dialogue that has to be created. There's quality assurance teams. So there's quite a broad range of careers that you could find in game development. And so pretty much any area of interest and skill would probably have some root in. And where are we? Well, look, I mean, there are meetups that people can go to. Even as young or old as people are, they can get involved. They can start getting involved in game development. You don't have to be hired to do it. You can go out and find out how to, follow tutorials on how to use Unity or Unreal, Godot, or any one of those. And I always mispronounce that last one. Any one of those engines. You can go to itch.io and look at the list of game jams that are coming up and sort of try and build a game around a particular theme. There's loads of ways to get into it and figure out if it's something you want to do before you actually look into it as a career.
And what would be a starting point if I wanted to get into dev? What would be the first thing that I would need to do?
Google. Definitely go and look up sort of game dev tutorials and get started and figure out what's needed there. You'll be downloading. Anybody who has access to a computer can really start building their own games. And second step would definitely be get involved with the community. You learn a lot from other people doing these things, and you get lots of opportunities to try out what other people are doing, to figure out where your gaps might be, and to figure out where your particular skills and interests would make sense in the industry. There are games that are made by teams of one or two people, and there are games that are made by thousands of people working together over multiple years. So chances are pretty good you'll find something of some interest somewhere. And I mean, I was also, when I was younger, it was also a case of, this isn't a real career, but it really is these days. And it's small in some markets. South Africa is one of those, but there are opportunities all over the world. And it's something that could turn into a really productive and interesting career.
Mm-hmm. On that note, I think it is really cool that we can sort of be more open-minded in terms of things you can do as a career. Even from like 20 years ago, there are careers created, as we speak. I don't know how often, I don't know the stats on that. But you can literally make a career out of almost everything, because everything is content, everything has its place. There are enough people in the world to be interested in what you're doing. So what are some careers, Luca, we'll start with you, that you think are interesting in their emergence in the gaming and esports market?
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on kind of a little bit of what Matt was saying as well. I mean, I've got a friend out in the Free State living on a farm, with terrible internet, but he's been spending his free time learning Unreal Engine, and building little worlds for himself and kind of transferring that into architecture and making a little cash on the side. But as me would say, these kind of pieces of software are enabling a very, we call it amateur level programmer to actually build worlds, which is so exciting. For me, that's one of the big ones, just creating these environments, just completely kind of bringing your imagination to life through a program. Very exciting. My little sister, obviously, I can definitely blame myself for that. She was heavily influenced by my love for gaming, and Now she's in varsity, learning game design, a massive artist, a lover for drawing fantasy kind of characters, and now she's bringing those to life. So really, really cool knowing that your imagination can just be kind of brought to reality. Obviously, speaking back on my point, I really feel the world of advertising still has a lot of work, a lot of development when it comes to speaking to gamers. As mentioned earlier, it's always kind of a touch and go with how we communicate it to in terms of selling a product to us. So a really exciting one there. And then, of course, is where can we take events? So really looking at creating this kind of super hyper interactive experience. When it comes to gaming, I know, us as serious fans, we can get excited about a play on a big screen, but how do you make that moment more susceptible to a broader audience? It's easy for everyone to watch a game of soccer, but how do you make that gaming event hyper interactive for an audience? Is it the world of VR, AR? How do we create that direct connection to that moment for fans that are sitting at home, or fans that are obviously live in the stadium? So I think the world of marketing, advertising, and events when it comes to gaming interests me the most, and very curious to see obviously where the new generation takes that. Yeah.
Matt, how about from your side?
I think perhaps more than just game development, there are sort of related industries that have picked up on the great technology that we use to entertain people. And there was mention there of AR and VR. Those are getting used all over the place. They're getting used in medicine. They're getting used in heavy industry. So I think that while the scope for careers in game development has grown, it's not just that. It's that those kinds of careers have allowed you to move into other industries as well, and this tech to really good use elsewhere, right? Even the ideas of things that we've learned to understand through years and years of game design, the psychology of how people think and how games hook people. There's a whole field of gamification that goes and applies that thinking to all kinds of different industries. And again, there was mention of marketing, right? We've got games that get used for marketing. And so, so there's lots of different areas where the kind of lessons you'd learn to get into game development would be able to be used as well.
Amazing. Luca, RoBoHoBo, Tokoni. I was schooled on how to say his name before. I still got it wrong.
Perfect.
Matt Benic, thank you so much for chatting with me. It's been super insightful for me as well. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Now that was interesting. Thank you again to our guests, Luca and Matt, for their time. Don't miss the next episode of The Roundtable.